I'm Nick Seco from Home Right Windows and Doors, and we're located in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. So we do vinyl replacement windows, we do steel and fiberglass entry doors, we do aluminum storm doors, and we do sliding patio doors, all made by Provia. The windows are a vinyl replacement window, and it could be anything from double hungs to casements to bay and bow windows and everything in between. So when somebody calls in the office and needs an estimate, they get Roxanne on the phone typically, and she would schedule an appointment for me to come out and take some measurements, provide some literature, go through what options we have, and then I would follow up within about 24 to 48 hours with an estimate with all the details of the products as well as the installed price. I find that we're typically much more affordable than the companies that you see advertising on TV or in a lot of other places. If they're spending a lot of advertising dollars, obviously they're passing those costs on to their consumers. You could go to our website at homerightwaynesboro.com, or you could call us at 717-749-4874.
Local and live, covering Franklin and Washington counties, it's Let's Talk TriState.
Dan DeDona here with localnews1.org weekly report covering Hagerstown, Chambersburg, Smithsburg, Fairfield, Waynesboro, and all the communities making up our local area. If you recall, I'm going to go through the 5 things to do this weekend. First, if you recall, last week we talked about how History Restored Tours was bringing in a couple of World War II aircraft. One was a B-29 Doc as a bomber from World War II, and also a P-51 Mustang called Gunslinger. Well, to top that off this week, tank enthusiasts and history buffs are going to find that there's a whole lot more World War II and military vehicles that are going to be on display out at the 51st Annual East Coast Military Vehicle Rally here at Hagerstown Aviation Museum. It's going to be a living timeline for military might. The event is hosted by the Washington County Collectors/Blue and Gray Military Vehicle Trust, and it's rolling into Hagerstown on today, May 30th, and tomorrow, May 31st, from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. There'll be over 200 vendors featuring collectibles, surplus World War II and other war surplus material, memorabilia, and proceeds are going to benefit the museum and veterans' causes in the area. Just a reminder, last week we talked about the airplane rides. This is the weekend when those airplane rides are going to take place. So if you want to do any of that sort of thing, go out to the Hagerstown Aviation Museum's website and check it out. Second item, 'tis the season for farmers markets of all kinds. I'm told by our staff that this is the root of excitement. And if you haven't visited the area farmers markets, then the only thing fresher than veggies are puns. Every Saturday from 8 a.m. till noon over at the North Square Farmers Market over in Chambersburg is going to transform into a hub of South Central Pennsylvania's finest local flavors. It'll be courtesy of Downtown Business Council. Just down the road in Waynesboro, Main Street, Waynesboro, will start their weekly market at the park, an open-air market at 25 East Main Street in downtown Waynesboro. They'll be operating every Saturday from 8:30 a.m. until noon. Features live music, local vendors, fresh meats, produce, baked goods, and so on. And for those who would prefer to sleep in on Saturday, you still have an opportunity, because on Sunday, the Downtown Farmers Market in Hagerstown, Maryland, will be open from noon until 4 p.m. at the Hub City Brewery on 25 West Church Street. That'll bring together artisans, crafts, produce vendors, and closing comment here is, let us romaine, friends, and turnip at all these markets. There's appealing finds and very good times for all. Katie is desperately trying to keep from laughing. I didn't even write this one. This one was actually pretty good. Third item on the list. Children and families are invited to a scavenger hunt on Saturday from noon until 4 p.m. at the Washington County Rural Heritage Museum at 7313 Sharpsburg Pike in Boonesboro. The event encourages participants to search for 19th century objects, which are going to be scattered and hidden throughout all of the museum's exhibits. The fourth item on the list. If nostalgia had a soundtrack, it would sound a lot like the marvelous Wonderettes. It's the first show of the season out at Totem Pole Playhouse in Fayetteville. That'll be running from May 30th, today, through June 8th. I think there's 12 different shows. That's located at 9555 Golf Course Road. This is a group of young singers who are going to go through both their as they graduate from high school and at their 10-year reunion. They're gonna do a number of songs from the 1958 prom and from the years after that. 30 classic hits. Showtimes kick off on Friday at 7:30 p.m. and you'll have to check the Totem Pole website for tickets and showtimes for all of the other 11 events. The last of the 5, excuse me, is when the sun sets on Saturday. Painted Pastures in Smithsburg is going to transform into a family-friendly drive-in. If you've never been to a drive-in, a lot of folks don't have the opportunity anymore to attend a drive-in. When my family was younger, we used to go out. We had a van. We'd slide open the side doors. We'd pull up in between 2 different places where you could hook up the speakers and acted like we actually had stereo. But it's great. Popcorn and watching movies. The movie out at Painted Pastures, though, is going to be a screening of Babe. The gates open at 6:30 p.m. on May 31st, and the movie will start at 8 p.m. There will be snacks, visits with live pigs, and some play games. You can purchase tickets online for this evening, and it's going to be located at 11926 Little Antietam Road. Adding one sixth item, the Fayetteville Firemen's Carnival is going to be taking place, actually started last night on May 29th, and it'll be running for 10 days through the 7th of June. They open every night at 5 p.m. at the Fairfield Volunteer Fire Department Fairgrounds at 101 West Main Street. They have rides, food, bands, fireworks on the 7th of June. If you get an opportunity, you ought to go out there. Right after that, there's going to be another carnival that will start up at Mont Alto for the Mont Alto Fire Department, which is kind of the granddaddy and the classic of all these kinds of events. So that should be a great time. Switching over to community news, the Penn State Mont Alto decision concerning closure has gotten a little bit of blowback. There's a lot of people who are perking up and starting to pay attention now that theoretically a decision has been made. Franklin County Area Development Corporation's Mike Ross noted in a letter to the Board of Governors that there's a lot of history and a lot of developmental activity along I-81 that would benefit, that we can also take advantage of by having a top-rate college in our immediate vicinity. For those of you who would ask the question, well, what didn't they make a decision? Well, not exactly, because it turns out that whatever decision is made by the Penn State system eventually needs to be signed off by the Secretary of Education for the state of Pennsylvania. That's a young lady who has been appointed in an acting status by Governor Shapiro. So the decision isn't final yet. But even if that avenue were open to you, it still leaves open a question, which is, well, what are you going to say to them since the decision was already made? Well, it turns out there's a young lady over in the vicinity who took up the 143-page report, and based upon her analysis, she's a PhD in mechanical engineering and does a lot of data analysis work. Based on her analysis of the data in the report that was presented, she can make a strong case that Mont Alto and perhaps some other of the regional campuses should probably stay open based upon exactly the same criteria that the Board of Governors said they were using in order to decide that Mont Alto and others should be closed. For example, she looked at the populations of the counties in which these schools reside, and at the college age component of the growth in the or decline in those counties, and she found that Franklin County is growing, and so is the college age student population. So, and there were some other arguments in there. At any rate, more to follow. There is a petition underway, and they're completing. They're pursuing that. See, if you want to see more on that, there are links at the bottom of some of these stories that will lead you to the 143-page report, the analysis that was done, and elsewhere. Not a settled issue yet, as it turns out. Shifting over to Hagerstown. Hagerstown was wrapping up a lot of loose ends here as they got ready for 2026 budget. If you recall, they've been talking about a $223 million budget for several weeks now. Last week when we talked about it, we mentioned that, well, it's a balancing act between there's functions, services that the city provides that might have to be skinnied back, or they might have to raise taxes. Well, it turned out they didn't do either. Although there's a piece of it that is true. Taxes in general are going up, but they did not raise tax rates. It turns out, though, that the property valuation in Maryland has gone up and in Washington County, and it's gone up by about 34%. So even with a constant rate of taxation, property taxes, you're still going to see an increase of about 34% in your property taxes in general, even without changing the rates. So that was kind of interesting. They solved a number of other problems by going to reserve funds obviously you can't do that forever, but on a one-year basis. They took a look at Hagerstown is one of several cities. Chambersburg is also in this situation that provides some of their own services, utilities in particular, parking, electrical, water, and wastewater. They're hitting cash reserves for both parking and electrical, while they commission studies to go out and see what they need to do in order to try to balance that for the 2027 budget. Water, it turns out, water rates in Hagerstown are extraordinarily cheap, so cheap that when they sell water to surrounding communities, they turn around and sell it for several times more than what they bought it. Good for all the surrounding communities, not so good for Hagerstown though. So they're going to have to circle back and look at that. And then there's the wastewater that they have to deal with. Some of their water and waste issues have to do with the fact that they're projecting about a $200 million bill to renovate and bring a lot of these facilities up to speed in coming years. So part of their problem is they need to be able to generate enough cash that they can sock away that in addition to any grants that they might come up with, they can also pay for these renovations and upgrades in future years. Two other issues that came up. Number one, the outdoor camping ordinance, which the police suggested in order to control what came to be known as a way of dealing with homelessness in Hagerstown. That failed. The councilors voted 2-2, and since there is no provision in the Hagerstown Charter to break ties, that's where it sits. So it failed. It doesn't necessarily make everybody happy, though, and it's at least a stay of execution. We've still got a problem that they have to solve with how are you going to deal with all these people that are migrating to the Hagerstown and to the Washington County area in general. Some say, well, we need better controls, but we need some way of dealing with it. Apparently, this ordinance was not it. Others are basically saying, no, we need to pass something like this ordinance to gain control, but it's not going to be done this year, apparently. Stay tuned in the future. The other thing that they did was they did pass some legislation concerning cannabis zoning. Now, of course, the reason why you do zoning in general is to try to guide how development is going to take place. You usually think of that in terms of not wanting a chicken or a pig farm to pop up in the middle of your residential area. Generally considered poor form. in the way of zoning and planning. In this particular case, they want to protect the neighborhood's integrity while they're also guiding development. So they're going to be avoiding schools, parks, and residential areas for cannabis sales and development. Shifting to Chambersburg, there is a $5,000 micro grant, or grants actually, that are available from the Downtown Chambersburg Incorporated outfit. These $5,000 grants are going to come with a 100% match. So their objective is they want to make sure downtown Chambersburg looks good. So if there's work that needs to be done on facades or storefronts or other features of the downtown area, they have access to money so that they can make $5,000 grants to businesses or property owners. For eligible businesses, the applications are due by the 30th of June. I would recommend that you go to the downtown website and check out what the procedures are for that. Greencastle had their 8th annual father-daughter dance this past week, and they raised $50,000 for that. That's a lot of money for a father-daughter dance. That's all that money is to be dedicated to local education. 670 members of the community met at the high school gym, and that's really a big deal. That's a great thing. I'm not sure exactly how you'd make that any bigger. The only place that's big enough to handle something larger would be over at Green Grove Gardens, I assume. Hagerstown Community College got a $5,000 donation for the Larry E. Small Memorial Scholarship Fund. It was presented by David Yeoman, a former faculty member at Hagerstown Community College and a retired Maryland State Police officer. That comes from that's from the state of Maryland. In police news, fortunately this week we don't have anything. Nobody's shooting or stabbing anybody or running people down, but the Waynesboro Police are seeking information about an 18 May hit and run that took place near the Rudders on South Potomac Street. Anybody that has information on that, please contact the Waynesboro Police Department. They think a white SUV of some kind was involved. There's a picture in localnews1.org, but that is not a picture of the vehicle. That was a sample of what the police think they're looking for. But anybody who's got information, please contact the police on that. I need to straighten that out. In people news, a lot of things happening. Dade Royer was sworn in as mayor. Now, you may recall Dade Royer was just running for the Republican primary for mayor in Waynesboro. Well, with the recent passing of beloved Mayor Dick Starlipper, that left a vacancy. So Dade had to resign his position as a council member for Ward 1 in order to accept a temporary appointment to complete the existing term of office. And then he'll still be eligible to run for mayor on his own merits come November. That also left a vacancy for the Ward 1 council position, which was filled by the council by Todd Blake. So they're patching things together there and moving forward. Another people news, Rion Johnson, who is in Hagerstown High School, broke a 30-year-old state record in the 1600 meter by 0.32 seconds. The former record was held by Annapolis graduate Christian Nicolini. In Franklin County Career Tech, they were honoring top students and staff for 2025. Long list of people, but the Mason Dice, Cade Byers, Julianne Walters, Daniel McGuire, Christian Kleitz, and Nathan McKendrick were all mentioned in that. There's more names, but those were on the top of the list. The Chambersburg Chamber has named board members, 22 people named to work with them in the officer positions as well as the other people on the board. In health news, WellSpan is offering a virtual cancer survivorship series. There'll be 4 sessions starting today on the 30th of May. The idea is that an awful lot of people who survive cancer have lasting effects. Some of the drugs they use, my family has some personal experience with this. Some of the drugs they use are just really nasty. They do bad things to the body, to your body, and you have to learn how to cope with that sort of thing. So they're trying to make this not easier, but at least well-informed as these people who have suffered a terrible illness and survived it go about living the rest of their lives. So this is a very nice thing that WellSpan is putting on. Emeritus medical doctor Paula Nguyen has an article about family obstetrics. She offers thoughts on helping whole families, not just the individual patient, but like most of medicine, you find that there's the patient and then there's the family, and the family needs as much attention and bedside manner in many cases as the patient. It's one thing to explain what's going on to the patient, but the family needs to make adjustments so that they can be helpful as well. So that's a good thing. In Franklin County, the Leg Up Farm, which has an existing facility over in York, is creating a new facility in Franklin County. It's near, where is it? It's for pediatric therapy. It's going to be near the golf course, Penn National. It's a $5 million project. They are still accepting donations, so you should look into that. Apparently, they get very high marks. They actually came to some local clubs and made a presentation as well, and members of the Rotary Club in Waynesboro stood up and attested that this is really a good outfit. So WellSpan is also launching the Chambersburg Family Medical Residency Program. There'll be 6 residents starting up in the next 6 weeks. Holly Bertone is offering tips on summer travel. Holly's got one of our regular programs, and she and others are pointing out that as you get to the vacation season and you start traveling, there's a lot of opportunities to make the wrong decisions. You sit in one place too long, you don't get up and stretch, you don't walk around. You eat what you would ordinarily think would be healthy foods, except that there's a lot of unhealthy garnishes, all the stuff that really makes it taste good. But nonetheless, you have to pay a little bit of attention to make sure you don't come out the other side of a vacation feeling worse than you went in. So good tips on that. And in Chambersburg, there is you can get free senior produce vouchers. The sponsor for that is the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture. Franklin County residents who are over age 60 and meet certain income guidelines, can go to 600 Norland Avenue and pick up, depending upon whether you're living alone or with a spouse or a friend, $25 a piece to get fresh produce. So that's a nice thing to do. And entertainment, coming up on the 10th of June, also at Totem Pole. 2 shows, one day only, will be The Spouse Whisperer. This is a fellow it's a comedy about the ups and downs of relationships. Once again, go to their ticket office to find out the details of that. 10th of June is when that takes place, and the Chambersburg Community Theater is going to be opening their season this fall with a presentation of The Diary of Anne Frank. Auditions at the Capitol Theater are going to be on the 18th and 19th. That'll be a Friday and a Saturday of July. The Friday event will be from 6 to 8 p.m. and the Saturday event will be from 2 to 4. We also have a detailed rehearsal schedule on the story, so go take a look at that. There's a whole bunch of other things that we do in localnews1.org. Local history. We're adding a new regular column called the Writings of Dargan Boy. This is a former feature columnist with some of the local Hagerstown papers. He's going to be writing a Thursday column for us every week, and we're very glad that he's joining us. We got sports, 7 high schools, little leagues, racing, running, pets, animal care. Basically, there are many, many, many more activities from the 68 stories that we reported this past week that really all together form the mosaic that's constantly shifting of what our area is like and what everybody is doing. Highly recommend that you take a look at localnews1.org. You can see all the stories you want for $4.99 a month. And I would also mention that we're very proud to be the source of news for the Verstandig radio stations, not only on this show, but also in the for their morning and afternoon rush hour events. So, and with that, the thought of the day: as we finally get clear of winter, it is worth noting that John Deere manure spreaders are the only products which they will not stand behind. And that's it for this week. Thanks for tuning in.
If you'd like to be featured on an upcoming episode of Let's Talk Tri-State, call 717-597-9200 or email letstalk@921thegoat.com.